Good morning. Hi. I just wanted to follow up from my last update, which I did a few weeks ago. Really, just to try and again give everyone insight and a view as to what's been happening during the course of July. Obviously, we now have a new Prime Minister, which was something that I focused on quite heavily in my last update, and actually on the run up to, I think they're describing it as the coronation of Mr. Burnham, when the week before that happened, we did actually see a little bit of a blip in the market. Things started to feel like they were gaining some momentum, but certainly over the course of the last 10 days now, really since that coronation happened, we have seen a cooling in the market again, but I don't necessarily think that that's been influenced by what's happening in London. I think it is very much a traditional characteristic that we see that coincides with the start of the 6 week holidays, or the academic summer holidays, which of course all came about last week. So I think for the moment, certainly listening to the media, listening to the news outlets that I do, actually there is, I think the jury's still very much out as to what our new government is going to produce, what the shuffle in the cabinet is going to produce, and ultimately, of course, what the new Chancellor of the Exchequer is going to start to talk about over the weeks ahead. And I think for the moment, the best course of action is just to keep on the same path, albeit that we've seen a distinct cooling in terms of activity over the last 10 days. I think as we head into August next week, activity levels are likely to return. And as we start to understand Andy Burnham's policies in a little bit more detail, I think the popularity that he has, particularly the further up north we go in the country, I think that popularity is going to start to help with public confidence on the high street a little bit, just as we saw that week before he became the Prime Minister. I mean, certainly from our perspective, July hasn't been a terrible month. The important thing is that we are selling, that we are getting interest in properties, but relatively speaking, viewing levels are very quiet. To give you an idea, last week we booked around 30 appointments in the week across the size of our portfolio of available stock. That represents one viewing per maybe 5 instructions on average, which, to be fair, is really about sort of somewhere in the region of about 25 to 30% of where we want to be. But what we are seeing online is a very, very consistent online presence. People are looking at properties on Rightmove, Zoopla, Prime Location. In fact, all of our stats are up on average. All of our stock is being seen, and certainly people are, I think, sat at home or in the garden with the weather as it is, sort of thumbing through Rightmove, clicking the favourite buttons on those properties that they like. And as I say, I think once we get a little bit of a rhythm to August, now that the kids have broken up, I think we're likely to see viewing levels increase a little bit, and I think that with that there will be more sales activity. But as I say, for the here and now, I don't think that there is any need to make any knee-jerk reactions. Certainly we have still got the month of August ahead of us, and September really being the back end of the summer. And I think for those people who we've not been able to find a buyer for, once we get to that September month, then might be the appropriate time to start looking at strategy and if we need to tweak anything. And equally for the here and now, those properties that have recently received guidance from me, maybe an adjustment to price or how we're marketing the home, I think we need to let those strategies play out during August to see what comes. But so as I say, I just really wanted to again use this forum, use my videos as a way of reaching my client base quickly and efficiently, as well as of course the individual meetings, the telephone calls, property visits and things like that, just to try and give oversight to exactly what's happening and what I feel is developing in the market. But of course, anyone who has any specific queries, questions, wants to critique anything I've said, wants to sort of dive into a specific sort of item of what I've discussed in more detail, do feel free just to give me a call or reach out to any of my team in the office, and we will of course be more than happy to help. But for the moment, as I say, I think we keep as we are, and hopefully enjoy the rest of the good weather that's ahead of us. Thanks very much. Bye for now.